Alright, good day everyone. Today we'll be doing something real cool. We will use what we have learned so far to make a login page, right? It might not be all the widgets, but we're going to use majority of them, right? At least the popular ones. Okay, so here I've already created my own version. I mean, clean up the boiler code of, and I use stick level sheets that has a material app that leads to the homepage. Give this a seed color of yellow. You see what that does. Video. Um, Turned off the debug banner, particularly the thing that tells that oh this is a debug version of the application. I turned that off. So I created a particular uh, scaffold. Yeah, in this particular class. Okay. So let's begin. First of all, we have in the body. I like to have a padding just so that it doesn't start from, you know, the edge. I like some padding in my applications. I've noticed most applications they do not start from the edge. They look somewhat upkept, so they have this little padding. If you check your apps, your WhatsApp, different apps, it's always there. It brings some kind of uniform mad look, but like mad in a good sense though. But anyways, we'll give it a padding. We'll give it horizontal, which is from left to right. We take in, let's say 12. 12 should be fine. Okay, so for the body, sorry about that. Okay, all right, child, give it a color. Now I'm going to paste in what we'll need, right? Basically, we'll need a login text, an icon. We'll need a text field for the email, for the password, for the forgot password. Alright, okay, especially this one, it's going to be just a text. We will not navigate to the page just yet, or maybe we might. Let's just see how far we go. But we'll use a very simple logic to just check, right, if these two things are correct, and if they're correct, then we will navigate to a particular page. I'll introduce navigation in this particular tutorial. Alright, so let's begin. Alright, first of all, we'll have, just so everything starts from the start, from the left. We'll use a cross axis alignment. Start. Or I think rather, let me show you why that should be a thing. Let's just keep going. And yeah, later on you see why. Text, we'll say login with email and password. Alright, so let's just have that. Save, here it is. Let's put in a size box. Basically, it's a container, but not really a container. It contains something, but you cannot design it. It's just basically transparent at all times, and it gives you set the amount of height and the width that you want. Most times, people use it's just so they can have spacing. Or rather, let me check a particular widget's gap. Well, I guess that's not here. Let's use the size box. Sorry about that. Give it a height of 23. And let's save. Alright, here it is. Let's style this particular text. If you notice, there is the spacing that was talking about, the padding. Brings some really nice looks to it. Okay, so style. We have a text style widgets. Give it a font size of 23. Let's make it big. Alright, let's make it big. And font weight W700. The width of the class is 600. Okay, now this is much better. All right, so let's use an icon. Icons dots person 3. Save. All right, so yeah, I wanted to show you guys something. The reason why I wanted to use the cross access in the first place. Now, the thing about columns is it does not, unlike rows, rows take in, let's say, a particular row from edge to edge. A column takes in a particular column from edge to edge, but it doesn't take in the full screen. You get me? So, assuming this is one letter, then it would be at the center, like how this one is. Right? But assuming that it's not one and it's a little bit wider, it's a stretch like this. But the next one, as far as it's not the same length, basically the width of a column is basically the um, largest by width, largest widget in that column, right? So I want this to be at the center. Okay, so I'll wrap this with a column, a row. I figured there's another way to do it, but for now, let's just use the row. If you know, it's just drop it in the comment section. Main axis alignments and the center. Now you notice it goes all the way here, so to just avoid that, we will still put in the login with email and password. Let me just show you what's the alignments dot start. So everything will start at the center except you press it and you've what's the word? You purposely set it to the center. But by nature, by default, at least for this design that we want to use, it should start from left to right. Okay, so yeah, that is this. Let's add in our with email and password. Okay, now we would want some spacing between them, so we use the spacing argument. Let's say spacing at 20. Okay, so let's increase the size of this particular widget. Let's say size 20. That's quite small. 60. All right. Okay, so now we will use a text field. Now for this text field, I don't want to use the default style. So let's, oh yeah. Now, my last video, I spoke about clean architecture, right? So here in the core, we have widgets. Don't mind the other ones that are here. This one, it's on certain tutorials that I'm trying to do for the channel and things I'm trying to test. So that inside these particular features, I should have a better name, and I'll work on that later. But for now, in this core, it's basically what you're going to use in multiple places of the app. Right. So if you just have something you're going to use on your homepage, inside the homepage feature, at the homepage folder, you have something called a widget, or you have utils, and you have that particular widget. As far as you're not going to use that same widget in other places, right? But since we're going to have a text field here, and then we could have it in the login page, the sign up page, or we could have it somewhere else in the app. If it's a chat app, you could have it inside the chat screens too. So rather than building, why not just create one and then call it at different times? All right, so we'll say my chats, my text field widgets. All right, don't use capital letters, rather use small letters. Okay, so we say stateful. Let's use the stateful class. Now, if you notice, all of these guys here, they are all highlighted. So click on delete and then control space. All right, and then we'll use a text field. This basically is teaching how to make reusable widgets. It's quite important and popular in this line of work career, I guess. So with this, we'll pass a couple of arguments. We'll create our own arguments, right? Things that are a must and needed because when you have a particular widget that you use in different places, possibly it has different use cases and use different things that you want to do with it. So rather than just hard coding one particular thing that you use, one particular case that you particularly use for one thing, because you could have like we're going to have a password and we're going to have an email field. So rather than doing that, we could have something like rather than just putting for the hint text, because there's something called hint text, we could use email, right? That means everywhere we have a text field that is not an email, we'll have email. So we'll pass some arguments so that whenever we can customize it. So we use something final string um hint text. Or let's just use hint. Alright, final controller. I explained what the controller is. That's editing controller. And final, you know what, let's leave that for now. Let's use this too. Okay, so where we since it's required, we will need to pass it here, but for now let's just design. Okay, so we'll use for decoration, use inputs decoration. Inside that we have borders, then we have the outputs decoration. Now let's just fill this quickly. It's a red scribble. Let's fill this quickly. Um, Over here, let's change this to a state for widgets. Okay, so here and before the override, final text, editing controller, email. All right, let's just use that. That's you can name it anyhow you want. Otherwise, you use small letters too. Let's just copy this and make one for the text, the password, so we don't have to do it later. Password. Okay, so for here we'll pass the email, and then we'll pass hint text, email, or phone number. Okay, so first of all, let's save this. We don't see it yet, but we'll get there. It should be somewhere around here. For some reason, we haven't seen it yet. That's okay. Let's do something. Field color, let's make it blue just so we can see what's going on. And then we set it to true. Field, it's a boolean, so we set it to true. Huh. Why are you not coming up? Let's restart. Here it is. Okay, so this is how it looks. Let's design a little bit, give it border radius. Circular. I think circular is my favorite. 20, and then we have this. Now for the hint text, we'll pass in the widgets dot hint. Now if it's a stateless class, you could just call the hints, but as far as it's stateless, you have to call in this particular keyword. And then click on the dots, and it's going to show you the properties, and we use the hint. Now, another thing that we need to use is the controller. This way we can basically interact and use what's inside the text field. I mentioned that in the previous video. I have a video about that. You could just go check it out. We use the same widget since it's a stateful controller. Then we save. Here is your hint text. Pretty good here. Let's change this to gray. Let's say dark gray. Let's give it a shade of 600. Alright. Too dark. Shade of 400. Alright, let's use that. Okay, let's do something a little bit. Let's add a particular text here, just signifying that it's a uh, email or phone number. Okay, let's reduce the size by a lot. Let's say 18. So this spacing is coming back to bite us in the ass. So let's just do something. Let's just wrap this. It's not particularly right, but let's just wrap this and use it in a column, its own separate column. That should fix it. And like I said, starts from the center. That's where it does you go. Okay, so let's give it a cross axis alignment and we set it to start. Okay, let's reduce the size again to 16 should be fine. And then let's give it a color, something more light, color gray. Save. The gray is graying a little bit too less. Let's give it something like 500. Okay, so let's copy this particular column again and paste it for the text field. Alright, so we change this to phone number. I don't know why I gave it the phone number. Sorry about that. Password. Okay, let's change this to password. Okay, so this spacing, I think it's a little bit too much. 20 is quite. Let's make it 10. Okay, so let's add the forget password. We'll use a row, so we can use we can position it at the end. Use a row, give it a main axis alignment, main dot end. As by default, whatever you put inside here is going to go all the way to the end. So let's give it a children. Okay, give it a text. You know, let's just copy this particular password widgets and paste it here. Okay, say forgot password. Okay, let's reduce the size. I don't know if I think it might just be because of the window I'm using, the emulator I'm using. It looks a little bit bigger than normally is. But anyways, there is this particular thing that I'm working on, and it should be out in a week or two. Responsive design, but that's to basically For different phones, for different media viewing devices, they have different aspect ratios, and things look bigger and things look smaller than they are sometimes on your emulator. That's why before people push particular apps to release, they test it on multiple devices, real devices, just to see how it responds to them. Okay, response with the app. So for an Android, this would look really like much smaller than how it is. For a Windows, I mean, if you want to just open this is how it looks, right? So responsive design is going to basically based on the size of the screen. It's a logic based on the size of the screen. It will design the app to make it look much nicer than it does without the design. Okay, so yeah, let's all right. So let's have the button. I think just so this doesn't take too long. Let's use a filled button. Give it an untap. Let's leave that empty for now. Let's give it a child text. What's Ctrl V log in. Okay, here it is. Let's style it before we go over to the logic. Style. We call in the field for any button. When you want to create a style, you just call the button name dot style from. So okay, it's the end. Okay, so for size, okay, minimum size would collect a widget called size. There's also a video for this if you want more in-depth knowledge. Okay, so we use a double dot infinity and then we give it a height of 50. Okay, so let's make it 40. Now the color is a little bit eh for me. So let's give it a background color of, let's say, gray, or you know what, let's use gray. Of Let's change this color to black. Okay, it's white by default. All right, so let's make a particular method. Okay, for we'll check if this and this is correct, then we log in. If it is wrong, then it gives us an error, at least a pop-up. Okay, so coming up here, we'll create a method check auth. All right, so first of all, let's do something. Let's have our key. Since we're not using any backend, we will use hard-coded passwords and email. So let's say email is equals to my email is equals to dd at gmail dot com. All right, and then my password is say 123. Okay, so now let's do a check. If statements, all right, let's check. If my password is not equal to email, dot text. Basically, wherever the email is, converts to text. And my password is not equal to password. Okay. All right. Yes, that's because we're not given. Okay. That's return. Okay, let's use a show snack. Scaffold messenger. Okay. Dot of contacts dot show snack bar. Return a snack bar. What is the content? It's a widget, so let's use a text. Incorrect password. Let's say some commands. Let's save. Okay. Else, basically, if it is correct, return. Let's navigate. Navigator dot push. Now all of these are different ways. I think I'll make a video. The next video I'll upload is going to be about that. But for this tutorial, let's just use the simple one, which is push. Right? Context. Then the route, we use the material page route builder. Just follow this. Then we return something. Alright, always return something. So let's say home page. We are yet to create that, so let's just hurry up and create a file like that. Home page dot dart stateless. Take it out, home page, with the cons, we add a scaffold, save, and then we come here. When you hover over it, it will give you this. So import it. Okay, so now let's check this out. Now this is our password. If we copy it and paste it here. Now if you notice this happens twice, that's because we are definitely using the same controller. Alright, so let's come down here. Where are you? See, same controller for password. I can't believe I made such a mistake, but it's not good because that way you see what I was talking about. If you save it, now it's empty. So let's just come here and just write type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what happens first. Okay, for some reason that did not work. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. We were supposed to pass it here. Check auth. Alright, so first of all, let's pass the dd@gmail.com. And then we pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you know what? Why did that happen? Okay, I think we used a really, really bad. Okay, it says here, if the email is not equals to the email, the controller.text for email, and my password is not equals to this. Okay, okay, okay. think what we should have done is make this for simpler terms. This is my bad. Sorry about that. Let's copy this entire widget here. Ctrl V. Let's restart. Let's see what happens. That should fix it. Okay. So we have the dd at gmail.com. Just so we're sure this is it. This is it. And the password is 1235. Incorrect password. Incorrect password. So as we remove this, navigates us to this particular page. So that's going to be it. On Monday, okay, or rather next week, I will drop a video on different navigation styles. A week or two after that, I will show you good practices for navigation. Just so we can see our homepage, we just have a body with center widgets, text, I will say home, save, here it is. So just check it again. Let's restart the app. It should be, okay, so dd at gmail.com 1234 5 incorrect, and then homepage. Okay, so that would be all. It's a little bit longer than it should be, but I just need to add everything we have done so far. At least majority of the widgets we have done so far. So next week we're going to work on navigation. We're going to work on some widgets, some new widgets, and I'm going to change the days that the videos come out. I think if it's Flutter widget of the day, it should come out every day. So I'll try my best to drop a video every single day on specific widgets. And starting from next week, so in 2 weeks' time, we'll work on something even cooler. You know, we'll probably have a new login page with the new better design because this one is very, very empty, very, very basic and stripped to the fundamentals. Okay, so with time, we also look into backend. So backend, we use Firebase for that authentication, how to fix it, common problems, and all that. I will create a tutorial, a playlist also for errors because when I started coding, I had so many errors, the most ridiculous of errors that would keep me up for days. And it's not like I was doing anything crazy, like I'm building an app and there's a bug. It could literally be Gradle or anything. So if you have errors, you just put them in the comments, or I will add my email to my profile, so you can send me an email talking about the errors, and then we see how we can fix them. If we can fix them, and then I'll make a video so that we can show more people. And if I have any errors myself, be it as complex as it might be, maybe for a complex application or maybe even something little, I will make a tutorial on how to solve it. Already there's one that happens, which is the NDK version. Now I don't have that one on film, but assuming you are building an app, let me just give a really, really short way to do it. Assuming you're building an application and it gives you, oh, the NDK version is not supported, you can come here to the app, to build the Gradle. Okay, you come all the way here, NDK version. Flutter has its default, but things like the backend, when we are doing it, you see the error. For the Firebase uses a different version from what Flutter is currently using. So you have to go to Android Studios and download, assuming you're using an Android emulator, which we will use for that tutorial, download a particular NDK version and then we use it. so that we can run the Firebase with our application. But for now, that will just be all. Um, have fun with it. You can play with the colors, and basically, if you have any problems, just drop it in the comment section or send me an email. Okay, thank you very much and see you next week.